morning everybody. Namaste. It's a pleasure for me to be among you. This is the first time I am visiting your esteemed institution. I would want to share some of the practical aspects of Panchakarma with you and learn from you and share whatever I have learned all these years as a practitioner. So the topic I am going to present today is Panchakarma, its clinical practice of Ayurveda. Because a lot of research, lot of academic work goes on and on with whatever our acharyas have always mentioned to us. But the convergence happens when you apply it in your clinical practice. One thing which is very striking and very relevant nowadays is the intense urge among Ayurvedacharyas to set up and practice like allopaths. It's very difficult. See, there are many similarities between Ayurveda and allopathy. There are many dissimilarities also. When it comes to possibilities and limitations, there are many limitations that we face as practicing Ayurvedic physicians. And there are many more possibilities that we can give to the public, we can give to the world where allopathy is failing. In chronic disorders, in autoimmune disorders, these are some grey areas of allopathic system where we can really do something better than the conventional system of practice. So let us pick up some of these areas where we can contribute to the society's well-being. As I mentioned, we have an intense urge to sit in the chamber and practice like an allopath, seeing the reports, writing off medications and expecting the changes to happen with the same pace as that of a allopathic doctor. It is inevitable, but I have to compare because this is what we always are at loggerheads. But if we see at a different level, our science was never meant to be, scaled down to that extent. Always there is a relevance of the Chikitsa Chatushpada and the Chaturgunas of each Chatushpada, Beshak, Dravya, Upasthata and Rogi. So it's a convergence of all these four which translates our efforts into required benefits. Degenerative disorders and autoimmune disorders. These are the two big areas in today's medical science which are a challenge to any of the systems of healthcare. Allopathic practice in either geriatrics or in degenerative changes looks like a hopeless way of managing things. When it comes to autoimmune disorders, starting from hypothyroidism to chronic kidney disease to rheumatoid arthritis to name it and you have it. Everything has an autoimmune basis. They don't know the concept of ama. They don't know the concept of doshas. So they conveniently choose to suppress the immune system. They don't have this edge of detoxification. Every science is very good in supplementing what is running low in our systems. Vriddhi samanai sarvesham viparite viparyaya. So whatever is running low in the system, dravya samanya, karma samanya, guna samanya, we can use these concepts and make up for it. So it's very easy. Generally, this is what happens in age group above 50 or 60 when body cannot produce its own fund of hormones or anything. You need supplementation. And once you identify what's running low, you can supplement it. But in contrast, it is only in Ayurveda where we see in the form of Shodhana or in the form of Panchakarma, we are creating an exit route for the toxins which are loading on the system. When the toxins are building up, sorry to use the word toxin, we conveniently have the word ama, dosha, kupita dosha, sanchaya, prakopa, prasara, sthana, samshraya, vyakta, bheda. If we see the kriya kala, always we have to use the word kupita dosha. Kupitanam hi doshanam sharire paridharatam yatra sangaha kha vaigunyat vyadhis tattvopa jayate. So the basis is one kupita dosha. Depending on where the sanga is occurring, that disease is formed. Similarly, if I want to put it in modern terms, toxins or autoimmune disorders have the same basis, where the immune system is getting hyper. It should not get hyper without reason. There is a reason for the immune system to become hyperactive. So that reason we call it as kupita dosha or ama, and they have not yet identified why the immune system goes haywire. So when these are some of the striking differences in the understanding of some of the disorders which are of chronic nature, where we have an edge, let me take you through a small presentation and also present to you some of the case studies which have shown to us how efficient it becomes when we practice Ayurveda with a Shodhana based approach. I am using the word Shodhana again and again because Panchakarma is misunderstood as convenient external therapies which is photographically depicted using models and everything. But in reality, when we do the real Panchakarma, Shodhana Panchakarma, nothing is as convenient as it is shown in a photographic representation like a Chirodhara or an Abhyangam going on. It's not. It's a general introduction. Why Ayurveda? It is very basic. It is very irrelevant to be talking about why Ayurveda among the learned audience. But this is the first question a new entrant into Ayurveda, a new patient into Ayurveda asks us. No, what is the relevance of coming to Ayurveda? Why should I come to Ayurveda? So, in a nutshell, Ayurveda is a clinically time-tested, comprehensive system of healthcare, a Vedic science. Why I use the word Vedic science is because it automatically takes us to get a glimpse of about thousands of years of history. It has been the mother of most systems of healthcare, including surgery. It finds a need, has scientific relevance, has been aggressively researched upon, and can contribute significantly to the varied medical and lifestyle needs of the modern day. We may be a very old science, but we are not outdated. We are extremely relevant even today. Latest advancements in diagnostic methods and allied medical fields can seamlessly be interpreted and integrated with Ayurvedic practice. This is something which we need to match, our pure sciences with modern diagnostic approach. Even if your diagnosis is perfect, the patient is not happy if he does not go through a system of blood tests or radiological scans and things like that. So let us integrate modern diagnostics with clean, pure Ayurvedic practice. That gives a very modern approach to whatever we do clinically. So in the timeline, if we see, we have systematically classified all diseases into sadhya and asadhya vyadhi. Sadhyo sadhya iti vyadhir vidha tautu punarvidha susadhya kritsra sadhyascha vyapya yaschanupakramaha. So, to a great extent, most of the disorders start as a sadhya vyadhi, easily curable disease. Then it becomes curable with effort. Maybe it requires surgery, but it is curable. Then comes the yapya vyadhi, where it is not curable but manageable. Many disorders of nowadays come under yapya vyadhi, be it diabetes, hypertension. There is no cure, but people don't mind. But it can be managed with medications and other support. then a condition turns, a manageable condition turns into a untreatable or terminal condition. Initially, if we see in the timeline, if this is the Vyadhi Bala, that is the Roga Bala. Roga Bala and Rogi Bala I have just juxtaposed. Initially, when the Vyadhi is building up, the body becomes more alert because the healing mechanisms become more alert in the stage 1, and that is when good Ahara Vihara, call it diet and lifestyle, good Ahara Vihara is necessary to manage any disease in its initial phase. And this initial phase, Ahara Vihara, is sufficient. Next, when it becomes Krichra Sadhya, Ahara, Vihara, Aushadha and maybe Shastra Karma may be necessary. In the timeline, in the Kriya Kala or in the process, always there is a tendency of a medical disorder to turn into a surgical condition. The relevance of Panchakarma or Shodhana is stretched almost in the last extent. Many so-called surgically manageable conditions, many so-called chronic disorders are really manageable well with the use of Panchakarma, I mean to say Nasya, Vamana, Virechana, Vasti and Rakta Mokshana. All the other Panchakarmas or all the other karmas which we are, confusing it with the external therapies of Kerala, it is not from Kerala. Let me be very clear about that to you. In Kerala it has been preserved well, practiced well. There is a connect, there is no disconnect. So in the timeline we become very relevant even till the last, except the totally asadhya condition. Just an enumeration of what I am going to talk about. Panchakarma, that is Nasya, Vamana, Virechana, Vasti and Raktam. In sequence, we have to do the Purva Karma, the Pradhana Karma and Samsarjana or the Paschat Karma. The Purva Karmas are usually Deepana, Pachana, Snehana and Svedana. Deepana, Pachana can be either through medicines or through diet. Then comes the Pradhana Karma and again Snehana, Svedana. Again Snehana is of two varieties, Bahya Sneha and Abhyantara Sneha. Bahya Sneha, all the varieties of Abhyangam, the Patrapinda Svedana, the Pidchil, whatever, or the Kayaseka, these are all methods of Bahya Sneha. Bahya Snehana does not only mean like external application of oils, it has its profound effect on the systemic aspects of the disease, because each and every thylam what we use is having a profound effect in specific diseases, disorders. Maybe some tracer studies have to be done to find out why. As I mentioned, Abhyantara and Bahya, Sneha, Svedana techniques are therapeutics generally termed as Keraliya Panchakarma. It is not necessary that we prefix the term Keraliya anywhere, because there is nothing beyond what Acharyas have ever mentioned in the Samhitas. There are some people who say Kshiravala Tailam is a contribution of Kerala. It is not. In Vatarakta Adhyaya, in 29th chapter, Charaka Chikitsa, there is Shatapaka Balatailam, Sahastrapaka Balatailam. So if you add one more paka, it becomes 101. So it's not your contribution. So it's all there. We have to delve deep into our Samhitas first and take out the gems from each and every. Generally, Shodhana and Panchakarma, these are the terms interchangeably used. Is there a conflict in using these two interchangeably? Usually, all the Shodhanas are generally Vata Prakopaka, unless we do proper Samsarjana. Except for the combination of Vata and Vata Pittaja disorders, where Brahmana becomes the Shaman. Like Anuvasana Vasti, even though a Panchakarma is not considered a Shodhana. There is no Shodhana for Vata. We cannot do Vata Shuddhi. We can only do Brahmana, which will do the Shamana of Vata. Shodhana is there for Pitta and Kapha. For Vata, we have to do Brahmana. Acharya Vagbhata mentions Brahmanam Shamanam Sveva Vayoho Pitta Nivarsya. For Vata and Vata Pitta disorders, Brahmana is the Chikitsa. Here we can generally translate it into degenerative as well as degenerative and inflammatory disorders. Brahmana becomes one necessary factor. So why I mention this is, most of the, like Natsya and in Vasti, we see Brahmana. Through Anuvasana Vasti we try to do Brahmana. Through Yapana Vastis, like Mustadi Yapana Vasti, it says Sadhyo Bala Mamsa Jananaha Rathayanasche. Sadhyo Bala Mamsa Janana Rathayanasche. So these are not Shodhana, actually they are doing Brahmana. So here the word Panchakarma and Shodhana to a large extent, though can be used interchangeably, there is small area which we need to be a little more clear about, that is Brahmana aspect of the Panchakarmas. Always it is not Karshana. Some of the examples of Purva Karmas are Abhyangam, Patrapinda Svedana. There are four basic things which external therapies of Ayurveda can be, based upon. Fine-tuned or very, very focused use of four components: pressure, temperature, technique and medicine. If we see Abhyanga, pressure is one thing. Temperature, what we use, again it is of three aspects. One is the body temperature, one is the room temperature, and one is the temperature of the medicine what we are using. Generally, how hot should the oils be? There is no measure for that. We don't dip a thermometer. If the therapist or if we feel this is warm enough, we will do it. Generally, it is told as Dharoshna, as Ushna as the Dhara of urine, or as Ushna as the Dhara of cow's milk. It's the body temperature basically, the core temperature, which is a few degrees or a couple of degrees above the external temperature. So, depending on the varying aspects of pressure, temperature, technique and medicine. Svedana, Stamba Gaurava Shita Gham, Svedanam Svedakara. So, if you are using heat to counter the Stambana, Gaurava, Shita, these are all the characteristics of aggravated kapha. So, treating aggravated kapha in return will also counter the vata. So, using this is the preparation of the Patrapinda Svedana. We generally use 4 to 5 varieties of medicinal plants here. One is the Shigru Patra, one is the Datura, one is the Arka, Nirgundi and Eranda. All 5 of these are almost available throughout the year in and around Calcutta. It's not difficult to procure this. Only thing is you have to select neat and clean areas, because these are growing in wastelands. Wastelands are subject to be dirty, muddy. So be choosy about where you collect these plants. Datura, Nirgundi, Eranda, Shigru and Arka. These are the 5 patras which we generally use. And to treat conditions of ankylosing spondylitis and amavata, generally we prepare this Patrapinda Svedana with Eranda Taila and Saindhava. It is almost made like a substitute. We can use Tila Taila, but Eranda Taila, because of its Katu Ushnam Tailam Eranda, Katu and Ushna Guna, Saraguna, they counter the properties of Vata effectively. So we tend to use, clinically we see better results when we use Eranda Taila with Saindhava. Lavanon with a snehaha, snehayanti, achiranaram. Immediate effect is there in snehana when we use lavana. Other things, prakshepaka dravyas, which go into the making of the Patrapinda Svedana are Lashuna, Methi,